Let's go, man. Let's go. The Philadelphia Eagles win again. They win again. How do they keep doing it? How do they keep figuring it out? I don't know. How do they keep winning games like this? I don't know. But literally the identity of the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles is play an ugly-ass game and find a way to win. That's who this team is. They are 9-1. They just went into Arrowhead after the ugliest first half that I have ever seen. There was literally nothing good about that first half. They come out and they battle back. They fight. They scrap tooth and nail in the ring. 12 rounds. Boom. Hit you with a little right hook and we find a way to win. How do they do it? This team is freaking resilient. They fight down to the last drive, and they beat Kansas City. They beat Patrick Mahomes. No Taylor Swift. They keep talking the broadcast. Oh, Travis Kelce has never lost to his brother. Well, guess what? He just lost to his brother. He just lost. And why? Because he fumbles on the 7-yard line. That's why. That's why. The Eagles somehow pull it off again. They are magicians. I never thought they'd win this game going into the fourth quarter. And the way they come back, they give up 0 points in the second half, and they fight it down to the final drive. This team is incredible. It's ugly. All right, Valdez-Scantling drops a freaking touchdown that would have won the game. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. But I'm here, and I'm pumped up, man, because I said this on our last video of the week leading up to this game, okay? As many times as I can come up here after a game and say, well, they played ugly. Well, they looked like crap. Well, they could have done this. Well, they could have done that. Well, they could have done that. Are we going to get to the damn Super Bowl and say, well, only if they played a prettier game? I mean, they just keep winning. I can't say anything. I can't say anything. The Eagles are 9-1, and they just proved that they are the best team in the NFL. They are the best team in the NFL. Let me say it one more time. Best team in the NFL. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't improve things. That doesn't mean if they play like this in the playoffs. But then again, if they play like this in the playoffs and they find a way to win, who gives a damn? Who cares? This team knows how to win. This is a tough environment, and they went on the road, and they stuck it to Kansas City. This reminded me of that damn Rams game about 5 weeks ago, when they held the Rams scoreless in the second half, just like they held Patrick Mahomes, maybe the greatest quarterback of all time, scoreless in the second half. And it wasn't his fault. Mr. Travis Kelce, right? No Taylor in the stands tonight. No Taylor with Mama Donna. Sorry, Travis with a big drop late. He did end up getting a first down. Then he got another first down and then a 15-yard. I mean, the Eagles, like, the Eagles should be on my health insurance premium, man. There should be some kind of like tax deduction, or there should be some kind of like extra benefit for being a Philadelphia Eagles fan in 2023. There should be some kind of extra thing, because the amount of cardiac arrest that they almost put us through every single game. Can we just have one easy win? Can we just have one easy win? Nah, we can't, man. But yo, what a freaking game, man. What a game. How did they get it done? We'll talk about how they get it done, man. I see people piling in the chat. I'm sorry. I'm just going off right now. Welcome on in, man. A to Z Philly live, YouTube and Facebook. If you guys are on Facebook, we got over 100 people in here. Tap that share button. Spread this out. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Let's keep growing. YouTube doesn't want to see us win, but we always will. Just like the Eagles always will. They always find a way to win. You look at the numbers in this game. I mean, Jalen Hurts, 14 for 22. Really not that good. DeAndre Swift had 40-plus yards in the first half. Only had 30 the rest of the game. Jalen Hurts, 2 touchdowns. And, I mean, look, the Eagles drove me nuts in this game. Brian Johnson specifically. Now, I will say the one big adjustment from the first half is that they didn't, give up many sacks. They gave up one early in the second half, and for some reason, it doesn't seem to count. I forget if there was a penalty or something, but they only ended the game, it says, with 5 sacks. I remember 6, but I guess there was a penalty on the one to start the second half. But other than that, the offensive line shored up. And I was talking during this game and I said, uncharacteristically, the Eagles' offensive line is getting their ass kicked. I mean, that's what was happening. I can't even remember the last time the Eagles' offensive line got beat down as bad as they did in that first half. But that is what good teams do. They flip the script and they were resilient. They didn't give up pressure the rest of the game. They started to get in a rhythm. Brian Johnson is going to drive me into an asylum with these wide receiver screens. The Eagles get it back after the fumble from Travis Kelce, and they go with back-to-back wide receiver screens followed by a Jalen Hurts scramble. They give the ball back. It's like they're trying to give the Chiefs an opportunity to win this game. But the Eagles defense comes up big, man. And the defense in the first half gave up 120 yards on the ground. They are giving up 66 average per game. Number one in the league. They were getting absolutely scolded in the first half. They were getting demolished by the Kansas City rushing attack. And Kansas City only finishes with 168 rushing yards. They only went for 47 yards in the second half. And that is why the Eagles won this game. We can talk about Jalen Hurts. We can talk about that bad man, Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown only had one catch in this game. That makes it even crazier. They shut down A.J. They took him out of this game. But with Dallas Goedert being out, Devontae Smith stood up and said, I got you. Let me put this team on my back. 6 catches, 99 yards, but he had the biggest one, a 41-yard completion. Eagles convert a 3rd and 5 for about 14 yards, and then Jalen finally lets one rip. One-on-one, Devontae beats his man. Boom, right down to the half-yard line. They punch it in, the brotherly shove. There was a 3rd down going in to this 3rd quarter, and I'm like, why aren't you doing the shove? They lined Jalen Hurts up in the shotgun. They handed off to Swift up the gut. What are you doing? What are you doing? Then they started to get the shove rolling. What are you trying to save that play or something? Come on, BJ. Come on, Brian Johnson. Get creative. The Chiefs were creative all game long. Even though it wasn't working, they're moving guys around. Then I start to see Brian Johnson lining up Devontae Smith in the backfield a couple plays with DeAndre Swift. He got guys moving all around, moving pieces, confusing that defense. You finally start to get the flow going. Jalen Hurts a couple big runs. The Eagles freaking did it, man. They won this game. Brotherly shove touchdown in the 3rd. I mean, each team had about 12 drives in this game. Really a wicked game, if you ask me. And then the Eagles end up getting another brotherly shove touchdown. The first one was actually a quarterback keeper. I'm sorry. The brotherly shove got them the first down, but then Jalen Hurts a quarterback keeper for 10 yards into the end zone. That got the flow going. Then on the subsequent drive is when Travis Kelce gets down to about the 7 or 8 fumbles. I mean, that is uncharacteristic of Travis. He fumbles inside the 10. Eagles get it back. Then the terrible play calling leads to the Chiefs getting the ball back. And Mahomes was amazing on 3rd down tonight. But then another drop. I think the Chiefs had about 5 crucial drops in this game. Then the Eagles end up getting it back. And that's when Jalen ends up going 2 plays in a row to Devontae. And the Chiefs get it back. They go 3 and out. Great stops. Gritty defense by the Eagles down the stretch of this game. And really just pressing those receivers. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here. I know it sounds bad, right? I'm not going to sit here and say the Eagles played perfect, right? Valdez-Scantling. What was that? 3rd down, I think? Hold on. I got this written down. I was like losing my mind at one point. I don't know if it was a 2nd or 3rd down, but Mahomes had Valdez-Scantling. He blows right by Roby. Roby was not that good tonight. Byard was up and down, but Roby was shaking up a little bit. And Valdez-Scantling just runs a go route all the way down. Mahomes had him. I can't even blame Mahomes. Put it right there. And Valdez-Scantling could not hold on to it. Sometimes that's just how it bounces, man. It's how the ball bounces. And then Mahomes on the next play is about to get sacked finally. And he throws it, doesn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. And that's an intentional grounding. That uses another timeout to avoid the runoff. And then the 4th and 25, there was no chance. The Eagles to win this game, to go into Arrowhead, so crucial, man. So crucial. All right, we'll get to the comments here in just a second. Guys, give me one word. Give me one word to tell me how you are feeling about this win. Like, just give me one word to describe your emotion right now. If you have other thoughts, like, Just anything. Just drop it in the chat, and I'm going to read some of these because I'm fired up right now, man. We got a lot more to talk about here on this post-game show. I mean, it was not perfect at all, but again, that is the identity of the Philadelphia Eagles in 2023. They find ways to win games. It's amazing, man. Even though, yeah, I mean, who knows if I'll be here tomorrow, man. I mean, man, my chest is beating right now, man. I'm amped. I'm amped. Every game, I guess, is going to be like this. But to beat the Cowboys, to beat Kansas City, you are now 2-0 in what we're calling the gauntlet, and you are setting yourself up for a perfect position for hopefully a first-round bye. And this is a big, big win on the road against one of the greatest of all time. And Andy Reid, and guys, Andy Reid was 27-4 coming out of a bye week. Andy Reid was 27-4. Mahomes was 5-0. They don't lose after the bye week. The Eagles just continue to, define the impossible. They continue to prove people wrong. And I can't sit here and complain. They got it done again. And the defense was huge in the second half. I thought Slay picked it up big time. I thought Bradbury picked it up big time. The linebackers did a hell of a job tonight. Travis Kelce never really got going. He had 7 catches, 44 yards. That is way, way below the barometer that Kelce sets on an average. And I know the Chiefs are only averaging, it said on the broadcast, like 6 points in the second half per game. But the Eagles defense, I mean, they just did a 180. Crazy, man. All right, let's read some of these words. And guys, I want to know your thoughts. How many, first off, how many how many beats per minute is your heart rate at right now? That's the first thing I want to know. And in addition to that, how did they get this done? What was the number one thing, the number one adjustment you saw in this game? What was the number one adjustment you saw? Why did they win this game? Can somebody tell me why they won this football game? Because every week I continue to say, why did they win this game? And I can't think of a concrete answer. This week, I think I chalk it up to the trenches completely flipping the script in the second half. I think this game was one of the trenches. I think it's why Howie Roseman continues to prioritize the offensive line and the defensive line. But even if they're an ugly 9-1, these boys stepped up and they got it done. And they're 9-1. Some of the words in the chat, I see relieved, chest pain, elated, finally, holidays, nervous and stressed, confident, resilient, vasold scantling. Okay, I see what you're doing there. Nice one. Fortunate, redemption, fired up, nervous, ecstatic, believing. Crazy, man. What a game this was. And I mean, this Eagles team can fight against anybody. They're never out of it. They are never out of it. Speaking of never out of it, I hope you didn't sell on your bets at halftime. I got to give a shout out to BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up with the code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. If you don't win your first bet, visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. In fact, I actually said that Devontae Smith was going to have a massive day earlier this week. I said he was going to be the guy to step up because Dallas Goedert was out. And Devontae is just so shifty. It feels like this guy's constantly running on air. He's just so smooth with the way he runs his routes. And man, not to say he's been underutilized, but he has a lot to give, man. Devontae could be a number one on a lot of teams, and I'm glad to see him get his shine. I'm really glad to see it. What a game, though, man. I feel like the Eagles were winning ugly games, but we kept saying, okay, let's see what happens when they play better teams. And tonight they played a really good team, and they got a really good win. Let's see what the chat thinks about why the Eagles won this game. And let's see what the chat thinks about how fast their heart is beating. Let's see. We got good coaching. Almost had a heart attack. Let's see. Heart rate was at 888. Defensive line, clutch defense because they started blitzing. Yeah, they actually did send some blitzes at Mahomes in this game. I was surprised because you really have to pick your spots. And honestly, they got to him a little bit. I mean, the Eagles only ended up having, one sack in this game, but they did get to Mahomes. They flushed him out of the pocket a couple times. He can make these wild off-balance throws, but they did start to bring more pressure. I thought Hassan Reddick was having a great game. He was chirping with Travis Kelce. Brandon Graham almost had a bad penalty at the end, but I thought he was okay. Milton Williams got in early. Other than maybe Roby, I thought Byard stepped it up. He had 8 tackles a night. Blankenship, any guy in the middle of the field really stepped up and did their job tonight. The defensive line flipped it around, man. I got to give him credit. Fletcher Cox had a wild penalty at the end, giving him 15 yards, getting him to the 49. But other than that, man, I thought the Eagles started to clean it up. I thought they cleaned it up later in the game, and that's how you beat good teams. Let's see. That scared me. Offense always comes through in the third or fourth. 500 beats per minute. JB, what's up? Says complete second half shutdown. 0 points for the Kansas City Chiefs in the second half. Both lines played great in the second half. Comments are flowing, man. Keep them coming. Second half adjustments on defense. Yeah, man. I thought in the first half they were playing too far back. They were letting Kansas City catch and run a lot. It's really what I wanted to see the Eagles do in this game. But I thought Kansas City was doing what they always do, right? Kind of throwing the Eagles off balance and just keeping it simple, right? A lot of little screen actions and flat actions and literally just dumping the ball off and letting their guys run. And the Eagles were not tackling well. They were missing guys. They were just letting the Chiefs really control the tempo of the game and come down the field, honestly. And yeah, Chiefs still won the time of possession. That's probably primarily in the first half. Like I said, they were really controlling it. They ran the ball effectively. They had 121 yards in the first half on the ground, but they only finished with 168. So the Eagles really tightened it up. And that's not characteristic of this team and that front. It's also not characteristic to give up 5 sacks in a half. So, yeah, man, I think the Philadelphia Eagles somehow just I guess the light switched on and they said, okay, time to step up. This game was never going to be pretty, especially in the rain, especially on the road, but they get it done, man. Big time. Big time. Craig says, dropped passes is how we won. That's easy. However, we kept fighting. We were beat on the drop touchdown. 4th and 25 ball was dropped. We would have given up a first down. That has to be addressed. On the 4th down, I don't think that was an easy catch. The touchdown was definitely easy. And the guy dropped it for sure. And that can't happen. I mean, it just can't happen from Bradley Roby. But at the end of the day, we say that every week about this shouldn't have happened, that shouldn't have happened. And I know if they play a good team who's on their A game, they're going to lose a game like this. But they haven't. They haven't yet. So I can't sit here and just keep saying that, when they play a better team, they're going to lose because they just played one of the best teams, if not the best, other than themselves. And they won. They won. So crazy, man. Crazy. Stressed out. This team made it happen when they needed it. Gives me confidence going forward. And I think that's huge, especially in the playoffs, because when the playoffs come around, I think last year was an anomaly. I think the way the Eagles played last year was an anomaly. They're not going to just blow everybody out in the playoffs en route to a Super Bowl and, really have one tough challenge at the end. But you have to find ways to win games, however it happens. If we get to the NFC Championship and they find a way to win, but it's ugly, they found a way to win, right? They're going to the Super Bowl. And a couple of things coming into this game, I said, whichever team established the run would win this game. Now, I was wrong about that because the Chiefs ran the ball much more effectively, but the Eagles did it better late. So I guess you could kind of throw that in there. But I said one thing about turnovers. Jalen Hurts and Pat Mahomes both came into this game with 8 turnovers. I said whoever turns the ball over more is going to probably lose this game. And, Pat threw an interception. Jalen threw an interception. They were matching each other. But the fumble late is huge. Huge. I mean, the Mahomes interception was terrible. The Hurts interception was terrible. How about A.J. Brown, who had one of the best plays I've ever seen, ripping the ball away from L'Jarius Sneed, and then his shin, that's a representation of how the first half was going. A.J. Brown rips the ball away, and his shin is touching L'Jarius Sneed. That was one of the best plays. We might have to throw A.J. in on defense sometimes. That was amazing. That was amazing. But then again, to see the way that the Eagles defense battled, Kansas City with a crucial turnover, Travis Kelce, which very uncharacteristic, loses the ball inside the 10. And the Eagles just made more plays, I guess. They just made more plays. Sometimes there's not words to describe how they got it done, but they get it done. I thought for a second the Chiefs were coming down to win this game, though. Like, Mahomes usually wins these type of games. Especially when you give him a 15-yard penalty on the final drive. But you held Mahomes under 200 passing yards. You held the Chiefs, you held Pacheco under 100. And Justin Watson was their leading receiver with 53 yards. I mean, you look at the penalties in this game, 7 each. Eagles cleaned it up later on. At one point, they were giving up like 7 yards per play, especially per rush as well. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you're just left, and this is how sports are, man. Sometimes it's so back and forth, and you're so ingrained in everything that you forget to just kind of step back and realize, like, at the end of the day, it's a win or loss, you know? It's a win or loss, but I will take it 9-1. I can't be mad at that. Chiefs were 8 for 17 on third down. The Eagles were 3 for 11. How did the Eagles win this game? Somehow they got it done. Pont Flair says, sloppy, but a sloppy win is better than a clean loss. 9-1. I agree. Wendy says Travis played a poor game. He played awful. Awful was Travis Kelce. He was not on his A game tonight. Maybe it was the Swift combination not being there. In fact, the Swift actually did show up. His name was DeAndre Swift, and he broke off a big run in the second half, which I thought really got the momentum going. I think it was a 35-yard run. That set up the Eagles getting inside the red zone, and then Jalen Hurts, quarterback keeper, for a 10-yard touchdown. That brought it back to a 3-point game. The real Swift showed up tonight, and his name was DeAndre Swift. And that was huge, not only for this game, but going forward. Because to be quite honest with you, the Eagles are going to have to be able to run the ball effectively, and they have not done it for about 5 weeks. But seeing DeAndre Swift get in there and finally break off a couple runs, even with how bad the offensive line was in the first half, it made me a lot more confident. It made me a lot more confident in this team. So I'm really happy that DeAndre Swift got his mojo back, and it was nice to see. It was nice to see. What do you guys think, though, man? What will the next Eagles loss be? Are they going to lose any more games? What do they have? 49ers, Buffalo, Seattle, Dallas? Like, when will they lose? When will they lose? Because right now they keep finding ways to win games, man. A lot of drives in this game and a lot of punts. Special teams was bad. I thought special teams needed to improve in this game. They gave up a couple big runs, but then near the end of the game, Britton Covey with a couple big returns himself. Special teams will be an area that I think they definitely need to address and work on. Can't give these teams good field position. Tony had the one return for like 13 yards. But yeah, man, I think Brian Johnson's going to have to improve some of this play calling, especially down in the red zone, like we've said before. But damn, man, I don't know. Maybe it's just the effect of going to the Super Bowl. Like, we all talk about them losing in the Super Bowl and how it's tough to get back, but you know, maybe we can take away the fact that they learned how to win. You know, they felt what it was like to lose that crucial moment, and now they're using that late in games, right? They have that experience now of like, okay, now we can kind of learn how to win these type of games. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff, man. I'm going to try to pull up some tweets here and kind of get some more info on what's going on. I know AJ at one point was frustrated. He only had one catch, but hey, man, you got the win. A win is a win. And speaking of wins, all Jalen Hurts does is win, by the way. I just wanted to say that. As much as people talk about Jalen and, oh, he's turning the ball over at a high clip and this and that, Jalen Hurts is 26-2 in his last 28 starts. Do you know how crazy that is? He is 26-2 in his last 28 games. There are not many people in the history of sports that have won that much in that span of time. That is crazy, man. Rich says maybe Dallas or the Niners, who are both playing great, but both are winnable. Our next loss might be the Niners or Cowboys. Bills, I can't wait to rub it in. Last year was too easy for them. Last year was way too easy. It was just blowout after blowout after blowout. But you know what? Maybe you have to go through some adversity to be, a contender and a solidified team. Maybe you have to go through these types of games to learn how to win. Jalen 26-2. Yeah, it's crazy. 26-2, and he's won 13 straight against teams with winning records. At the end of the day, man, you can't say anything else. You can't say anything else. Like, they just find ways to win games. They find ways to win games, man. Crazy stuff. They find ways to win. Jalen Hurts is a winner. Jalen Hurts is a winner. It is not easy to win in Arrowhead. It is not easy to win in that stadium. Crazy, man. Jalen Hurts has won 7 straight games when trailing by 10 or more points. Let me show you guys what I'm reading here. Jalen Hurts has won 7 straight games when trailing by 10 or more points. That is the most by any quarterback in the NFL since it was first tracked in 1991. No other quarterback has more than 4 straight. Like, this guy just wins, man. He just wins. And to be so young, like, I think we forget with how mature he is and how he handles himself. We forget how young he is. And obviously he paid him a lot of money. But like, this guy, man, I mean, and one thing I did notice today as well, with the knee brace not being on, right? That bye week, as Jalen Hurts referred to, at the perfect time, it was so crucial, man. That bye week was so crucial. He was out there with a knee sleeve on, no knee brace. He was moving around well. It just seemed a lot more intact. Like, the way he was able to go through his progressions and scramble, it just seemed more natural. I don't think they want him moving around as much as he did, but it seemed a lot better than the past. And especially earlier this season, I do think Jalen was playing through a tough injury. And I just think that, like, he's learning how to play the quarterback position, right? He's still going to have the runs. He's got, 9 rushing touchdowns or 8 now. But he's really learning how to go out there, take the ball in the fourth quarter, and win games. That's something that he didn't really have to do that much last year because the Eagles blew everybody away. But one thing I've noticed this year is, like, game on the line, fourth quarter, I want Jalen Hurts, man. Like, give him the ball and let him go win the game. He does it every time. He does it every time, man, except for the Jets game where he had a crucial turnover. But you know what? It feels like every year a really good team loses to a bad team, a trap game per se. And I mean, if the only loss is to the Jets, I can't be mad at that. I can't. JB says knee brace was on. I think it was a knee sleeve, but I know it was less than before. It definitely was not bothering him as much as before. Pomflair says one word to describe this game is tough. Tough. This team is tough, man. This team is tough. They are the best team in the NFL. Here's the Eagles, the rest of the gauntlet. They're now 2-0. They've beat Dallas. They have beat Kansas City. It is tough to beat Kansas City. Like, I keep saying it, but it's tough to beat Kansas City, man. What do you think their record will be over the next 4 games? Give me your predictions in the chat. Once again, appreciate everybody being in here. Do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button if you're in here. Share this around. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, A to Z Philly. Let me know how you're feeling, people. It's midnight here, and I'm on an all-time high of energy. What a game by the Philadelphia Eagles, man. I'm not going to, excruciate the officials here as well, but there was a lot of missed calls. They were floating around Twitter, a lot of missed holds. There was a couple on the Eagles side as well, but it felt like they were almost trying to let Kansas City win this game. Couple really blatant holds, especially on the touchdown as well early. Couple missed calls that were crucial. It's funny, though. Isn't it funny? For some reason, I can't put my finger on it. I can't put my finger on it. The Eagles were actually able to get pressure on Pat Mahomes. Wait, the Chiefs were actually able to get pressure on Jalen Hurts. I wonder why. It wasn't the case in the Super Bowl. Oh, that's right. They actually didn't rip the field to shreds this time. They actually sodded it, the sod, and they took care of it perfectly. They actually prepared the football field, the sod, the wet grass, like all of it. They actually drained the field perfectly. If only they would have done that in the freaking Super Bowl. If only they would have done that in the Super Bowl. Remember in the Super Bowl, it wasn't raining then. It was raining tonight. It was raining tonight, but you didn't see the grass chunks flying into the air when they ran. You didn't see guys slipping like they were on ice. I'm just saying, man. I know it's in the past, but come on, man. Let's see what the chat says. Music Lover, what's up? It says 4-0. 4-0 in the rest of the gauntlet. 3-1, 2-2. 2-2, 3-1, 4-1, 13-1. I love it, man. I love it. What a freaking game, man. Jalen Hurts wins. The Eagles win. They find ways to get it done. He has now beat Patrick Mahomes. He has now beat him on the road. Who knows? Could we be setting up a potential rivalry here? Maybe a little year in, year out. Mahomes and Hurts action. 2 of the best in the game, man. 2 of the best in the game. Here's what Kansas City did in the second half, ladies and gentlemen. Punt, punt, fumble, punt, and then a downs. Turnover on downs. The Chiefs, who are supposed to be such this like perfect, pretty, excellent. The Chiefs, who are supposed to be this like perfect child team and like they do things the right way and they're creative and Andy Reid has his guys ready and Patrick Mahomes, they are the ones that looked foolish in the second half. The Eagles are what did that to them, man. Big game. Great adjustments by Sean Desai. And a couple big mistakes by Kansas City. Like I said, playing against great teams make you do uncharacteristic things. And the Eagles get it done, man. What a game this was. I still wish AJ would have got that ball back. His shin touching the guy. I mean, that's crazy. It's crazy. JB says, had the Eagles undefeated this season to face the Jets, but Rodgers got hurt. That's a funny thing, actually. And that's one of the last points I want to make here, man. What do you guys think about the Eagles playing up the competition and playing down? Like, it might be a real thing, man. It is a real thing. The Philadelphia Eagles play up to competition. When they play these tough teams, they really come together. They step it up. They want to make a statement. They want to prove to themselves and prove to the rest of the world, like, okay, we can do this. And then they play down to bad teams and they keep themselves in it to the last final possession and, they make it interesting. Crazy, man. Crazy. This has been a wild year in the NFL. Excuse me. When I look at these other teams, man, like, I mean, let's look at the NFC. We're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles, the San Francisco 49ers. The Seahawks lost, yesterday on a terrible ending. Cowboys are the Cowboys. I mean, the Eagles tried to gift them a game. They wouldn't even take it. Who else? The Lions. The Lions are 8-2. The Detroit, you want me to believe in the Lions who almost lost to the Chicago Bears yesterday? I can't believe in them. And then we look at the AFC. You got Kansas City, who's above and beyond the rest, right? Eagles just beat them on the road in their building on a rainy night. Ravens have been up this year, but they lost a tough one last week. Who else? Buffalo, shaky. Bengals, Burrow out for the year. Who else? Philadelphia Eagles can beat anybody, ladies and gentlemen. They're the best team in the NFL, and they once again proved it tonight. Give me your final thoughts down in the chat, man. How are you feeling after this game? What is your main takeaway? How confident are you in this team? Special shout out tonight, Devontae Smith. Like I said, stepping in for Dallas Goedert, playing the way that he did, going up, getting those passes, getting open for Jalen when he didn't have a lot of time to throw, when he was under duress. Big game out of Devontae. Big game. AJ says you forgot about the Dolphins. About the Dolphins are fraudulent. They have showed that time and time again this season. Time and time again, man. JB, I agree 100%. Jet sweep to DeAndre Swift. How about just like moving these guys in the backfield, right? Lining up two guys or just trying something different. Brian Johnson needs to get creative. That's still one gripe I have. He continues to like have stretches in games where he's just like getting out of the norm. Like he's doing things that don't make any sense at all. And he's got this team kind of shaky sometimes. But Jalen Hurts continues to come through. And my biggest takeaway is if the Eagles can get this running game back, get this running mojo with DeAndre Swift and Kenny Gainwell, and even an occasional Jalen Hurts, they can be really, really good. Connie says we'll only lose one game unless we're given for the home field advantage. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I don't know if the Eagles are going to lose the rest of the way. If they do, I agree. Maybe it'll be when you already have the bye clinched and you're playing the Giants, and the Giants don't make any sense anyway. They should be losing games to improve their draft stock. No, they keep winning. They're winning. Why are they winning? Giants are the Giants, man. Giants are the Giants. Washington is Washington. Dallas, well, I feel like the Eagles may lose to Dallas the next game. They usually split with them. But right now, man, it's tough. It's tough. I know I'm bragging. I know I'm pumping my chest out, okay? But it's like, what else can I say other than the Eagles keep finding ways to win games? This was a tough environment. This was a road game at Arrowhead, which is one of the toughest places to play. And they went in there after a miserable first half, and they found a way. It's not like they scored 30 in the second half. They got one touchdown in the third, and they had one touchdown in the fourth. And most importantly, they won the turnover battle, and they made the Chiefs pay on their costly mistakes. When you make teams pay, right? Like anytime we see this in sports where, you make a mistake and the good team makes you pay, that's usually the difference in the game. And that's what happened, man. That is what happened. Trenches completely flipped the script, and they played like they knew how to. They didn't let the moment get to them, and they stayed composed. Eagles found a way to win, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning into this A to Z Philly postgame show. We are live every halftime, every postgame, and we drop videos throughout the week. If you guys are not yet, come on over to the YouTube channel. Search up on YouTube, A to Z Philly. Subscribe to the channel. Support the show. If you're on Facebook, drop a share, drop a like. Let's go, man. Eagles find a way to win in Kansas City. Big win. And talk about a great start to the week, man. Eagles are 9-1. They're 9-1. I'll see you next week on the live show. We'll obviously be here during the week on the videos. But, Maybe they'll find a way to win 10-9 next week, and we'll say how ugly it was, but they still win. They still freaking win, man. All right, guys. Have a great night. Try to get some sleep and wake up with a smile on your face because the Eagles are the best team in the NFL. A to Z Philly Postgame Live. I will catch you guys on the next one.